Hello, hi there, how are you doing? Today I would like to talk a little bit more about inspiration, and as always it's gonna be a little bit messy, it's gonna be a little bit all over the place, but I hope that in the end all makes sense. Also apologies, it has been rather windy the weekend, and as a result my hair got a little bit messed up and my audio too. I still have to get used to the landscape format, mainly because it's more difficult to hold a camera, even though I like the format much better. Anyway, coming back to the video I made about Valencia, does that mean I suggest you should visit Valencia? Absolutely. Does that mean that you should take it as a tourist guide? At your own risk, with a pinch of salt, as they say. Case in point, I walked past this train before we find out more about this train and whether it does go to Madrid. Let's have a look at this building here. It's called the Torre de Ripalda, built in 1969, and it's a wonderful example of the city's brutalist architecture. So as part of what I call inspiration, I will elaborate more on the various highlights of the city. There are a couple of events coming up, like the Fallas, and I also wanted to talk about the museums and the cultural centers here. But I would like to point out that it's not going to be the main story. I hope, of course, that in the future I can also take you to other places around the world, including other trees. Yeah, there's some sort of a pattern forming here, isn't it? In script writing, this is called a reveal. That means I move the camera and you start seeing more of the context, and admittedly, it's not the station. It's actually, we're at the university and they just put this beautiful train. I get out of the picture. And here's another giveaway. This train won't be going to Madrid or, in fact, anywhere. So what about stories that are technically not entirely true? Are they lies? Are they alternative realities? No, nothing of that. I once had a colleague asking me, well, he just started, I had a bit more experience, and he asked me, that line that you just drew, how do you know that it has to be there? Or are you making it all up? Well, I think this young guy was up to something, wasn't he? Of course I'm making things up, that's actually the idea of design, of creating things, it's making things up. By experience or, by gut feeling where you want it to be, but essentially you're making things up. I don't know about you, but to me this manhole cover does look like Space Invaders. I think we've lost. How do you keep the kids entertained when traveling on a bus or a train? Well, I remember I was just looking out of the window and imagine a rocket or a plane flying in parallel to us. Not many different letters in this alphabet soup. Nature, such a wonderful source of inspiration. It could be the shapes of the clouds, it could be leaves, it could be waterfalls, it could be waves crushing at the shore, it could be just about anything. A lot of people take inspiration from nature literally, like some sort of a technical inspiration, which of course is a valid point because we learn a lot from nature and how we can do things, but I'm a designer, so I'm not the one that says, okay, well, this is how we distribute the forces from the roof to a column. That would be engineering. Of course, this leaf is a bad example because I can actually use it as an inspiration of how I would like to visualize the engineering behind it. The point being, inspiration does not necessarily always work literally. Take these little fellows here. Yeah, okay. You might actually see some satellite domes on a boat one day and think, hey, I know where that's coming from. People ask me, why are you looking at man-made structures as an inspiration? Isn't nature a much better inspiration? Yeah, true. But I'm designing for people, and that's why things made by people are the best starting point for a story for people. So what is an inspiration? An inspiration to me is what starts a story, a spark. It is something that starts some gears. It starts some gears turning in my head. Do I look good with that? A crown. I like that crown. Anyway, what I'm saying is an inspiration starts a thought progress, and that becomes a story. Design is about creating objects, but it's very much also telling stories, and oh, that's even more impressive. Like that? I like it. In summary, inspiration can be anything, and it can be anything from very literal to completely abstract. It is usually something that makes me feel in a certain way, and then I interpret and rebuild this feeling in a new context. Inspiration is also a lot about motivation. The why is as important as the how. And even though the creative process is like taking ideas out of thin air and make them tangible, inspiration is the spark that actually starts it. I know it's probably a little bit of a strange thing, but I actually find sitting on trees very inspiring. I know, that's weird, isn't it?